Yeah, that's right. It's going to be ambient cooling again today. Sorry to disappoint. Um, my car broke down, so that makes it quite hard to go pick up LN2. I did sort of promise an LN2 stream last time, so apologies to whoever was there last time thinking they'd get an LN2 stream. Not this time around, but hopefully it'll still be entertaining to some degree. Just trying to fix my main camera so it doesn't suck. I have much better internet now, which at least on OBS I can see on my other two cameras, but for whatever reason this main camera, which is actually the best webcam I've got, is not cooperating. It was earlier and now it's not anymore, so just bear with me while I'm trying to figure that out. So how's everyone been doing? I haven't OC'd in 2 weeks. This is literally the first OC I'm doing in 2 weeks. It's kind of depressing in a way, but I'm here now. I also had to swap my competition background because I actually had quite a lot of subs in Division 5 already that were invalid because the competition was started early and with the wrong background linked, and the differences are quite subtle, I would say. Quite subtle. I'm not going to show you the two different backgrounds, but it's basically the same picture, just with Pro OC added instead of Road to Pro, and it's vertical instead of horizontal. So that's not enough of a distinction as far as I'm concerned, but yeah. So I'm on 18 degrees ambient. My temp probes all read a bit high usually, so it's more like 15 or 16 degrees, I would say. It's quite cold. It's winter here in Australia. Man, oh man, this camera is really not helping. Sort of wonder what I can do even. Just gonna turn it off and on again. Well, that's not working either. Well, at least you can see the temp probe in my face quite clearly. Oh dear. Hi, Amja. Yeah, oh, Jim Jam Jammin. Okay. It's just my chat box on the stream isn't showing it properly, or wasn't for a minute. Yeah, I suppose I could work with the monitor. Let's see what options I've got even. Yes, that looks quite a bit worse. I'm sure I'll figure it out. Yeah, I have been fiddling around with gain and brightness and all that, but if anything, it's just been getting worse, which is a real shame because Jim Jam Jam and you weren't in my other live streams, but they were all at 500 kilobits a second, which isn't a lot. It's that's sort of 1990s style. And now I finally have 4,000 kilobits and more available for the stream, but my camera isn't cooperating. Okay, let's see what I can do here. It's really weird. I don't really get it. I mean, it's sort of acceptable in a way. I can read it, but yeah, it's not ideal. I'm not happy with this webcam. It's brightness. Let's see what I can do with exposure and gain. That's exposure. No, gain is a waste of time. Okay, it's certainly not as good as I'd like it to be. But as long as you can see the CPU Z window and stuff reasonably well, I mean, you can see that we're at 3 gigahertz there, I hope. If you can, please let me know. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay, so who have we got on stream? So maybe for a bit of story time. Oh, Rave, Shout Gamers, Jim Jam Jammin', welcome all of you. So it's an ambient stream. That's why my rig cam is just looking at the post readout and the temperature. Because just showing a fan spinning isn't really as exciting as a pot or a single stage. You know what? It's the actual. At this point, it's the actual screen showing like that as well in real life, which is really screwed up. Don't think I've ever had to sort of adjust brightness and stuff like that on a non-laptop screen. It's kind of weird to even have to do that. I just got this 980. So this is an EVGA, not the classified, not a Kingpin. It's an SC, I think, which is still a pretty good card as things go. I mean, it's not, you know, Lightning or Matrix or whatever. But it should be okay. I don't plan to put it on LN2 for a long time anyway. All right. So I've got 3DMark 11 in here. Camera focus. Okay, let's try that. So previously I always had the problem of not being able to align the camera properly with the screen, but now I have the camera on I noticed that one of my cameras had a tripod mount on it, so I just put it on a tripod, so there's a ball head on there and I can just adjust it in all axes and stuff, so that's good. So focus, let's see. I have to sort of look at the stream myself. So that's worse. That's kind of like better. I think this is about the best. Let me know if you agree. All right. So really like 16-bit color kind of washed out. By the way, I've added a chat window. So it'll sort of run across the my third camera, which is the least important. Well, camera my stupid face is probably the least important, but you know, those two cameras are both unimportant. Yeah, so the beer I'm drinking is Batch Brewing Company, which is just a walk away actually. And it's a summer ale because it's fucking freezing here, so hold on. There you go, Batch Brewing. It's really cold here, so I decided to drink a summer ale. All right, let's start overclocking. First step is going to be to set maximum, or make sure that it's set to something reasonable. So 1500 should be okay for 3D. That's not going to hold me back. I'm going to start with 11, 3DMark 11. I'm a real 3D noob. It's the first time I'm streaming 3D. I've done a few sessions of Aquamark at 6 gigahertz on single stage with the 7640X. So I at least sort of know, would help to press the delete button at the right time. I at least sort of know a little bit about getting Aquamark running right, but otherwise I've only done a few 3D subs here and there just for divisions, just to get sort of points for subbing. But otherwise I really don't do much 3D. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect in bias. Okay. So let's, I don't think I have a physics profile set up. I actually do. Let's see what's in there. I haven't done physics on this for a while. So the 3600 memory, performance bias is always 11.5 for physics. I haven't really done extensive testing to see how this graphics score is affected on Ryzen by physics, by the performance bias, but I would just think that it doesn't really do much, so I'll just leave it at 11.5 for physics. So the trick with this board is, it's kind of depressing, but basically you need to set timings for like 3800 or 3733, but then you have to post it. Your first cold boot has to be at like 3600, otherwise it's never going to post, no matter how much you press the retry button. So what I'm going to try and do is go for that. So 12 CL12 loose at command rate 1. The other sort of peculiarity with Ryzen and Threadripper is, well, at least on the most recent sort of GSAs, is even if your sticks don't need a lot of DRAM, you still have to give them a lot of DRAM in order for the IMC to be able to do it. If that makes any sense. It seems a bit counterintuitive to say the least, but it's true. I'm not saying it's going to work today. It is still pretty finicky, but that's what I found works best on second gen Ryzen. So first gen, it'll just cap out at a certain megahertz. That's quite low compared to second gen. But if you're using X370 on second gen, the way to sort of get your memory performance close to what an X470 board would do, at least on this board, is to do that weird song and dance of booting a certain frequency, then going up one strap, and then going up one strap again. Okay, so 980, 11. So profile 8. So how is everybody doing? Tell me something. Jim, your PyFast score is really nice. I was impressed. I want to beat it now. Next week when I have a working car again and LN2, I'm gonna LN2 this chip for single core stuff. So the really nice thing about my streaming setup now is I used to only have, I started off just with a laptop and a rig, and actually just the inbuilt camera. Is that posted? The inbuilt camera in the laptop pointed at me, and one external camera to point at the rig. Then I got another camera as a rig cam, which was nice because you can show, if you're doing sub-zero, you can show the thermometer. If you're doing ambient, you can show the boot code, or maybe just your stakes and the fan next to it. So that's 3 cameras now, which I'm running right now. Then I got an external mic, which I think when I had crappy internet didn't really do very much because I was restricted to a really low audio bitrate. But I think now it's starting to make sense. So that was the next thing I added to the stream. Obviously I added the bot and changed the layout a bit, but But now this stream is the first stream where I have a second monitor attached to my laptop as well, which is nice because it means I can put OBS on one screen and then have the chat on the other screen and stuff. So it's just less messing around with my laptop and more overclocking. So that's 3666. Under some circumstances, that would actually not cold boot, believe it or not. It wouldn't. It would probably require a retry or two. So this is 3733 now. This definitely wouldn't boot cold. Well, you don't see it, but trust me, it's 30. Here we go, 3733. So I'm going to save this to the profile, even though it's of limited use because I don't think I can cold boot this. But let's see if you can get the 3800. High DRAM frequency is the magic ingredient here. SOC, funnily enough, SOC doesn't really do very much in most circumstances. These things are so good at auto SOC. Yeah, this might not boot. F9. All right. Let's give it a couple of retries. Yeah, you didn't realize it was the first sub 15 seconds. That's the nature of AMD overclocking. It's quite easy to get a world record, unfortunately. I mean, it's good and bad. I have all the Super Pis still, even though they're on first gen Ryzen, which is just insane. That's starting to look like a post actually. D2, maybe not. Yeah, so I'm hoping for a little bit more competition. It's an EVGA SC2 980, non-TI obviously. So it's not a classified, it's not a Kingpin. Okay, I'm gonna safe boot. Yeah, so I think the VRM is probably a little bit better than a bog standard Gigabyte would be, but yeah, it's not an amazing card, but I got a good deal on it, so. I have got results on 3800 on this board. Might even need 2 volts for the RAM. I don't really want to mess with termination voltage. Just gonna double check. I'll give it a try on CL14. I think this is the CL14. No, this is the CL16. This is the CL14 profile. CL15. Who runs CL15? That's ridiculous. That's the CL14 profile. Okay, let's just demonstrate the cold boot issue. Hopefully this didn't loosen out the subtiming so much that it now cold boots 3800. So if you guys haven't pressed follow yet, please press follow. That'd be really cool. I'm working on getting associate status on Twitch, which is sort of a level below partner and a level that you need to get to partner. And just press the follow button. You can turn off the email notifications. Hi, Commander Root. Is a White Shark here? He's our resident r/overclocking ambient Ryzen overclocking king. Yeah, quite nice that they have the F9 code now. Early on in the lifespan of first gen Ryzen, you would just get boot loops. When you're setting memory settings that are impossible, you would get boot loops, and you could press retry 15 times and you get the same thing over and over again, and you don't know why, really. Well, you can suspect, but F9 is a clear indication of either too high BCLK, which in a sense is also a memory setting that's incorrect, or just memory. Is anyone else here gonna sub Division 5? Okay, so now we're on CL14. Well, it failed to boot, but let's go 3600 again. Really happy with the stability of the stream. I was always getting dropped frames on my last internet connection. Oh, someone's pinging me on Discord. Oh, so White Shark is there. Hi, White Shark. Still impressed with your 8-core physics score. A 13. Wow, 13 is strange. Can't say I've had a 13 before. Just pyrocycling. Quite surprised that ambient is showing 18.6. That's ridiculous. I had the window open and it's winter. It's more like 14 degrees. Oh, so you want to get an R5? I'd recommend it. I mean, there aren't, from what I can see, there aren't really any binning differences anymore in second gen Ryzen. I think Neo was telling me that Silicon Lottery put up second gen chips, binned ones, and the binning range was ridiculously narrow. Really narrow. I've had two 2600Xs, and they've both done 5.6. Well, okay, that comes with an asterisk. One has done 5.6 plus in multi-core benches, and then died. Then I made it, and the second one, judging by SS binning, will do the same. And I've never been wrong with SS binning. I mean, there's a lot of things in OC where I maybe sometimes exaggerate a bit, or I'm hyperbolic or something, but SS binning on Ryzen, I think I'm pretty confident that I know what I'm doing. I haven't had any, even with Threadripper, I haven't had any sort of surprises. If, let's say I single core, I get a chip to run to complete a certain bench at 4.8, that means about 5.5 LN2, and you can just go up and down from there. Obviously it's not an entirely linear scale or anything, but provided you use the same SS as I have, even though one of the other guys living close to me, his SS did the same too. I was able to apply the same sort of binning logic. So this 2600X, which was a replacement for another 2600X that I LN2'd, it will possibly do a little bit more than the last one. And that's for multi-core. I wouldn't be surprised if it does sort of almost 5. I don't know. It could even do 5.8, let's say, for SuperPi 1M, for example, or like W Prime 32. Well, that's a bad example because it's multi-core, but you get the point. It's very easy to find the complete duds on SS. So yeah, get an R. The conclusion from that very long-winded explanation there is get an R5 because it's going to do the same frequencies your R7 does, more than likely. We've been through. I mean, God, at this point I've been through about 5 second gen chips, and yeah, they were all good. They were all good. Just letting some more people know that I'm live. Okay, that boots as well. That's 3733, I think. Yeah, but that's not what we want. We want 3800. And we're at 1.95 DRAM voltage. So how about you, Rave? You gonna get into the Ryzen game? I hate where the boot code is located on the Cross S6, even though it's one of my favorite boards ever. That's looking like a post. Yeah, that's a post. That's a post. Yay. So the timings did make the difference, which is interesting because my RAM does, you know, CL12. Saying that, well, that's the thing again. It's kind of, well, that's a hang though. Gonna have to work my way up the RAM ladder again. This is a new kit of FlareX. It's the 3rd kit of FlareX I've had, and sorry, the 4th kit, and the other 3 kits have all done 4000 CL12 at around about this DRAM voltage. So I'm a little bit surprised that loosening out to CL14 made the difference here to get some sort of a post. It wasn't stable, but just okay, I might have to settle for 3733. I just wanted to sort of demonstrate that, even though it was a very poor demonstration of the concept I've seen before in testing. Yeah, just get an R5, you won't regret it. Okay. So we had 3733 with 2 different sets of timings and slightly different DRAM voltages. Let's try just cold boot. No, I'm on air. I don't have any liquid cooling, but that's about to change. So I have an HC500 chiller, aquarium chiller, which I'm going to use for Threadripper. So the overall strategy is I'm going to prove people wrong about Threadripper being a bad 3D platform. I don't know how far that's going to get, but I'm going to try it. Okay, so 3733 is cold. Well, let's power cycle and really find out. So first gen Threadripper still has the AMC problem that first gen Ryzen had as well. So my strategy is to chill it down as much as possible without making IMC performance worse, and use that as a modern 3D platform. So Vantage, 3DMark 11, maybe Firestrike and TimeSpy and stuff like that as well, but I probably won't have the cards for those. So that's giving me an F1. Just gonna give it, yeah, let's reset the settings. Just gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll try this again. After that, I'll stop messing around with memory. It's clearly not this important. No, I'm not getting a 32 core. I know somebody who might though. And they might let me bench it too. Or at least watch them bench it. But no, we won't be getting a 32 core, no way. For a lot of the older newer 3D benches, if that makes any sense, the older non-legacy 3D benches, no keyboard. What the hell? How are we dropping out USB? How's that a thing? How could I? What? Okay, let's just reset, I suppose. So yeah, Vantage has a 20 core limit, 20 thread limit. 3DMark 11, I'm not sure about, but I think it scales. But Vantage, the 16 core Threadripper would be the best. Just disable hyperthreading and you're good to go. So yeah, I'm hoping to get a 16 core current gen. Yeah, so in terms of cooling methods, at the moment I just have LN2 and air, which sucks. But I'm hoping to get the chiller online for 3D. Oh, so it's CL14. It's not great. I need CL12. TRC to the minimum. Should go to 21 as well. Should give me some sort of a baseline. So it's Friday night here, so it's definitely a good time to be having a beer. All of you are European based, I'm guessing. So it's not exactly a beer clock yet for you guys. Any tennis fans on here? I'll be watching the French Open later when it comes on. Unfortunately, it's in the middle of the night, so yeah, not ideal. What else is going on? Tennis, Warcraft 3 tournament, the World Championship is going on at the moment, if anybody's into that. Yeah, lots of sports to watch. Ireland is playing Australia in the rugby tomorrow. Oh, 1.8 DRAM. That could be okay. This is a new kit. Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm getting these hangs. It's weird. Just gonna try and boot straight into Windows instead. Seven viewers. I like it. Thanks all for joining. This is the most mundane version of overclocking. I think the only way I could beat it is to go for 1-core globals on the Celeron G470, which I have 2 to bin through. So that will happen sometime soon too, and I'll probably be streaming it. Believe it or not. Okay, just making sure that all the memory settings took. And CPU Z 1.85 is a bitch because it just takes so much longer to load up on all platforms really than previous versions. CL12, yeah, that's alright. Yeah, just gonna adjust the focus a little bit. AU. EU as in Australia, or is that German for ouch? Not sure what you mean by that, or is it just a typo? I'm loving the on stream chat. It's really useful. I thought it would be a gimmicky feature, but it actually isn't. It really makes sense. That's worse, isn't it? Okay, I'm gonna go with the usual trick of just reducing the desktop size, resolution. Sorry about this, guys. It's really shouldn't be this hard. All right, let's go for a run. Let's just go for a full 3DMark 11 run. Yes, I haven't lost my just make sure that the driver, well, the driver should be installed. It's a relatively recent one. 11 needs system info enabled, doesn't it? I've been tempted to get a chiller to keep me going between LN2 deliveries. Yeah, I mean, the best is always single stage. Let's just finish a run, just to see something besides BIOS. So the thing with chillers is they're good for multi-way 3D because you don't, I mean, it's basically impossible for anybody on their own to babysit 3+ pots. I'm sure Kingpin can do it, but I'm just trying to say mere mortals can't do it. So the ideal setup there really is just 4 cards, let's say, that clock really well, and you just chill them all, and then you just push the CPU and the memory and just tune really hard. And then maybe if you still need a bit more performance, then you can get like, that can be your pre-testing, and then you can set a record or whatever with all 5 pots, but you need a second person to pour for sure. So it's good for that. It's good obviously for, wasn't there one AMD CPU architecture that was so highly cold bugged that chiller was the best cooling method? Was it 32 nanometer or something? It was a particular manufacturing process. So it's good for that. Otherwise, I don't know, I mean, ideally you just have a single stage that's quiet enough that you don't mind running it for hours and hours and hours, because I can see that being an issue as well, that for me, I just, at a certain point, I just can't take the noise of the single stage anymore. So, talking about single stages, mine is currently broken. That's why I say my only cooling methods are LN2 and ambient. Just gonna give physics a try in case if the memory is too tight or something, or it doesn't have enough VMem, then physics should also crash, just like GT1 did just a minute ago. Yeah, those are the use cases I can imagine for chillers. I'm trying to think of other architectures that love like, is there really a GPU that that is so cold bugged that it needs a chiller? Probably not. It's an interesting question. Maximum is okay. Yeah, let's give it a bit of more. 1.8 is kind of low. I'm not really following my own advice here. Let's go 1.925. Might need to set that in BIOS, but Yeah. Hi, Ronnie. Welcome. Doesn't matter what preset you have for physics. Yes, preset for Cinebench 11.5 is the best on this board by far. Okay, I just needed a bit of more VDIM, although it is crashing. Yeah, for the sake of the stream, I might have to go down to 3666. Maybe I can do it at a CL11 flat. That would be pretty nice. If Elmore can do almost 4K. Oh, okay. Now I get your question. So, the main ranked 3DMark 11 preset is performance, and then there's extreme and basic as well, I think. And on those you only get hardware points, whereas on performance you get globals. And I would imagine I'm going to double check the comp page, but they usually, if they're putting it into a comp, if they're putting 3DMark 11 into a comp, it's performance. I'm just going to double check that now. But yeah, that's usually what they use. Yeah, so White Shark, it's, you can kind of imagine it like the Firestrike presets. So it's just sort of increasing whatever texture depth or whatever, and the resolution. It's the same tests. No, physics is the same. That's what I'm trying to say. Is Firestrike physics is the same. So if somebody is trying to sub Firestrike physics for a comp, they can run any preset. They can go Firestrike regular, ultra, or extreme. I mean, you should just be running physics on its own, but if for whatever reason they do a full run and sub that to a comp, it's all the same. The physics test is always all the same. It doesn't change. Okay, 3DMark 11. Yeah, it actually, the comp page doesn't show, which is indicative of what hardware bot has been. There we go. All right, let's go down one strap and get a full run in. I'm going to put the middle timings to 11, just because I hate dropping a strap without also getting back something in return. And I'm going to go 1.9 DRAM for now. But yeah, that was a good question. It's not really intuitive. You could imagine a sort of situation where physics changes as well. You know, the resolution goes down or something, which would then make calculation easier and all that. So what about the Titan V? Are you saying that because Kingpin runs it on LN2, so are you saying that it should be run on a chiller, or it's just you get enough points on chiller that it's not worth risking a $3,000 card on LN2, which kind of makes sense. Hi, Electrical Longboard, welcome back. You've been in a couple of my streams. Kingpins is hard modded, yeah, but I mean, I'm sure you could run it on LN2. I mean, maybe not full pot, but you should be able to. Yeah, this recovery mode crap is annoying on this board. So the newer BIOSes for second gen, sometimes if you press retry, they'll go into BIOS recovery mode, which is obviously not what you want. Is it hard mounts though, or does it just need a modded BIOS? Which, I mean, yeah, on the latest Nvidia cards probably isn't as easy as it has been on other cards. Okay, it makes sense. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't really know that. Yeah, hard modding a $3,000 card is not for the faint-hearted. I'm starting to think these sticks aren't great. These might be the first Flare X's that were crap. All my other Flare X's were legitimately good. I'm loving just looking at my screen for the postcode instead of trying to bend over and see what's going on. It should have the postcode on the bottom like so many other cards do. 54, that's a RAM. That's actually telling me that the RAM isn't able to do this. Which is just ridiculous if you think about it. Most RAM does 4,000 at these settings. Okay, let's do the test. Let's swap in another set of Flare X's, even though now it's booting. Kill this kid and send it back. I've already good old G-Skill has been very patient with me. They have been very patient with me. I've made two kids. I've also given them the wrong address once, and their RMA location is in Taiwan. So they sent an RMA kit of RAM from Taiwan to Australia, wrong address, sent back to Taiwan and back to Australia again. So yeah, G-Skill rocks. If this kit is really this bad, I hope it doesn't hold me back for quad channel stuff. Because even for Threadripper on ambient or chiller, this could be a problem. Threadripper can do 3800 if you're patient with it. It's looking like a post, but it's probably just in recovery mode now. Yeah. Yeah, usually you get one dead stick. So many people say, you know, it's hard to kill a RAM, but it's not. I've killed more RAM than I've killed chips, which is interesting to think about. Oh yeah, let's try the same settings. I really hope that that kit isn't bad. 4133 Trident Z's. Before they died, what did they do on Intel? Let's say what did they do for Geekbench or SuperPi? So we were cold booting 3733 earlier, and now we're struggling with 3666. Just because I tightened up the middle timings. Okay, time for a safe boot and just going back to the plain 3666 profile, well, the CL12 profile. 3133. Do you remember the VDIM you used? Most of my kits do 3133 Geekbench. Probably not Waza, but yeah. So in terms of non-obvious overclocking gear, what I can recommend is, 2.1 is a lot. Fuck. I know the good kits scale like crazy, but I've sort of started to realize that for an average-ish kit, you don't want to go that high. I mean, I love killing stuff, and I love sort of really, really pushing stuff, but with RAM now, I've sort of started to realize that it's not worth it. If you have golden kit on a golden IMC, yeah, sure, but I remember pushing my first Flare X kit to, it was sort of like, it was on the MOCF, so it overrolls a lot, so it ended up being sort of 2.15, 2.175, and it did great. You know, it passed XTU at pretty good settings, but then one stick died, and it wasn't an amazing kit. You know, I didn't need to push it that much. I wasn't going for records or something. It's not trash Flare X. Even Sniper OZ, Sniper Oz, whatever you want to call him, uses Flare X. And Wizardy does as well. So I'm not the only one. They look trashy, but they actually clock well. Yeah, no, Jim, look, I love pushing vCore on CPUs because usually it doesn't do anything. It doesn't kill them. But on RAM, it's very counterproductive because oftentimes you think it's scaling. You're sort of making yourself believe that it's scaling, but it actually isn't. And you're just putting voltage through a kit and degrading it and doing nothing else. Yeah, I mean, lots of people swear by Tridents. I think it's one of the harder things to get right out of the stuff that you set in BIOS. I'd say one of the harder things to not overdo and to actually do sort of sensibly is DRAM voltage and termination. I can't say that I'm good at it. I'm just saying I at least realize that it's hard, and it can be very dangerous if people don't realize it. So yeah, I think it's probably safer to put 2.1 through your CPU than it is through your RAM. 2.1 on LN2 full pod obviously is what I'm saying. Don't don't do it on ambient. Surely this will post. Yeah, it took me 2 RMAs as well to realize that, so you're not alone. Okay, I'm gonna save a safe 3600 profile here, and then from a hot boot try and go up one strap, and then I'm just gonna run it. Fuck it. Yeah, we're in a good sort of situation though with DDR4. It's relatively easy to get good B die. You know, it's not the mess that DDR3 was. I think DDR3 you had to kind of try and find Samsung or freeze your memory, which is great, but I think if you want to sort of simplify your overclocking experience or what can go wrong, then DDR4 is probably a better place to be overall. And more profiles in the user profile section. Is there such a thing? I just know that there's inbuilt profiles. But yeah, I'd love to be able to save timings and just timings as a profile that I can apply separately and on top of the, you know, the core and the whatever, core voltage and all the other stuff. Come on, physics, just run. It isn't that hard. I just figured out that I don't even have my I subbed 780 Ti for this stage, but they pulled the sub because I was using the wrong background, even though they posted the wrong background. So now it's running. Well, it's initializing. Okay, I'm gonna pump a little bit more. Yeah, of course. I mean, so Rave, the thing is, people who've been in OC for a long time will tell you that they kind of miss the days of freezing RAM as well as the core, because they kind of say, well, 2D is part of overclocking, so you have to do it, but it's very simplistic compared to 3D. We want more complexity, we want more variables in there, we want to push ourselves more and have more of a challenge. And that's why 2D on a DDR3 platform is better, because more can go wrong, it's got a higher skill cap, whatever. I'm not disputing that, but the thing is, just if you want to look at it from a point of view of minimizing the frustrations, then DDR4 is better, in my opinion. That's just an opinion. I'm gonna have to do a stock run, I think. I don't really know what's wrong here. I'm suspecting RAM. It's the only thing I'm overclocking. Yeah, okay. Page fault in non-paged area. That certainly sounds like RAM. Okay, let's go down one strap. Oh, it's giving you flashbacks of Country Cup? Yeah. So Randy is one of the guys who slaved away, well, one of two guys who slaved away at 3DMark 11 physics and combined, basically, for Country Cup for Australia. And I mean, really slaved away. I'm not being hyperbolic here. They really put just days and days into efficiency testing, Ryzen and Threadripper. And it, it paid off. We won the stage, but it was kind of ridiculous, because there were some stages where we had, I don't know, like 5 subs that were all done in one day, and we won the stage. And then there was 3DMark 11, where it was sort of not 5 subs in one stage, it was more like 1 sub every 5 days, because it was just so intense. I wonder, well, first of all, I really hope that I put Country Cup back in the competition calendar for this year. It would be a massive shame if I took it off. But secondly, I hope they put more exciting stages in there like last year. That was so interesting, because there was literally no one in the world who knew how to run that stage, because nobody did it. Just nobody. Who runs 3D on Ryzen? I mean, there was the gigabyte master your Horizon comp or whatever, you know, but that's all really low level stuff. Country Cup is serious compared to that, much more serious. GPU efficiency, see you later. Okay, come on, physics, you can do it. I dropped one strap. If it's really that, then I can maybe BCLK back up again. I don't really mind that so much. It's only 66 megahertz. Oh, you didn't try oh wow, you didn't try perf bias. Seriously. That's, I mean, yeah, on this board that's the only thing I ever really test. Okay, that went further. Maybe I can get it to pass by giving it a little bit more VGDR. So many stresses. I'm kind of stumped, to be honest, guys. I don't... What version of 3DMark am I running? This is the... Oh, this is the version that's good for physics, isn't it? I'm gonna tighten up maximum a bit, just to see what that does. Yeah, okay. Look, it's my key, but there's quite a few 11 keys floating around there. Oh, Rave, were you actually on the Giga board for Country Cup? I know you had a, what was it, K7 or K5 or something, but I didn't realize you were actually subbing on that board for Country Cup. That's OC for you. The last thing you think about is the one that's gonna help you. So maximum did apply. Come on, just run for a change. I might run this cold, so that's why I'm sort of being pedantic in what I'm doing here. This looks like a pass. Probably gonna jinx myself, but it looks like a pass. Okay, that is a pass, and it's 14,000. Okay, let's quickly do so yeah, here you see, right? As far as I know, these are the only differences between the presets. It's just the resolution. It's the same graphics tests, and it's the same physics. Okay, let's do a full run. Just gonna quickly check Discord and stuff. That coil whine on this card, holy. And the fans aren't spinning. I mean, it's running stock, but that's still kind of interesting. So what does everybody think about Intel bullshitting the whole world with their 28 core? I mean, a lot of us knew straight away when they said 5 gigahertz 28 core that it had to be something, you know, it had to be chilled or phase change, or, but you know, do you do you guys think that they got away with it? Do you think that the sort of retraction or the admission of guilt was subtle and late enough that your average Joe actually now believes that Intel is gonna release a 5 GHz chip? I just think it's interesting how this stuff works, you know. You just need to, the first couple of headlines, the big headlines, need to be in your favor as a brand, and then everything else doesn't matter anymore. Who checks back a week later to see if the product that was announced really is the product that you thought it was? Soldered. Are the current Skylake based server chips soldered? I have no idea actually. Yeah, it is a meme, but you know, you sort of weigh it off. You know, had Intel not announced anything in the high performance sort of scene, would that have been better or worse than what is going on now? Because at least now people have it in the back of their minds, well, we know that AMD is coming out with a 32 core, but it's okay, Intel will have a 28 core. Because if you look at the first gen releases, Intel up to 18 cores, AMD up to 16 cores, so Intel had the core advantage. Intel burns down your house, AMD is cold. AMD, you can get a 12 core for the price of, you know, an 8 core Intel, and you can get a 16 core for sort of the price of a 10 or 12 core Intel. But it doesn't really matter. People still love X299. I mean, I love it for the i5 and the i7, but I'm just saying that a significant number of i9s get sold, even though they shouldn't be. Why would anybody buy i9s currently, as it stands today? Yeah, of course, Threadripper, you know, more memory latency, inter CCX latency or whatever, but, and sure, for AVX only stuff, but you know, for video production and everything, which I guess, you know, sometimes includes AVX, I just don't understand how anybody would buy Skylake X for something that isn't benching, or I don't know, just a display system. No, I mean, I don't know. I think deleting has too good of a reputation. I don't think it's as amazingly effective as people make it out to be. I mean, the stock paste is crap, but I don't know. I maybe on a chiller it would still work. So what was that? GT2 or 3? No, but AMD is not trash for virtualization. That's wrong. That's fake news. Okay, let's just rule out problems with the card by quickly doing a run on stock everything on the core on memory. Okay, yes, the GPUs can be improved. I get that, but I'm just talking about AMD in terms of just CPUs. But that's Intel. Intel just can't help themselves, you know. Let's go 3200 CL14. They just always want to one up the other side, even if there is no one up to be had, really. Like in this case, there's no way you can spin it. You know, AMD is so far ahead. Everywhere, really, if you think about it. I just don't know what it would take for people to actually go away from Intel. You know, as it is now, it's just, it's interesting how they've held on to this idea of being better for gaming and stuff. I mean, only not that I game very much on PC, but only in the rarest of cases does it really make a difference that Ryzen is slightly slower on single core. But then you have the whole benefit of getting an extra 2 cores for less money and stuff. But I don't know, it's just the whole spin behind Intel seems really effective. And I don't know how you can break through that, to be honest. So this is 3200 CL14. Just gonna go for a full run again. Then I'm gonna start thinking about what OC utility I should use for the card. Yeah, absolutely. It was a last minute decision. Definitely. They just didn't have an answer this time. Last time they wanted to launch up to 12 cores, so they were doing that whole Intel thing of, Haswell E was up to 8 cores, and then just to make it somewhat exciting, they made Broadwell E up to 10 cores, even though the price of the 10 core was so high that you may as well not have launched it. And they were trying to continue that pattern and say, well, Skylake X will have better memory and it'll have 2 more cores again. But then Threadripper came out and they had to do something, so they repurposed some Xeons and went up to 18 cores, so 2 more cores than AMD. But this time around they just don't have that option. There is no, because they don't have Infinity Fabric, there is no monolithic core that they can just plonk into that socket that is 34 cores. All they can do is just take the biggest monolithic core that they have, 28 core, and put another spin on it, which is, well, we clock higher. But even that, if you look into it just a tiny little bit, doesn't make any sense, because AMD didn't even disclose clocks and they were on air. So for all we know, that can also do 5 gigahertz. We know it can't, but there was nothing disclosed. So, and it is a new process and slightly, it's definitely not impossible. It'll certainly do 5 gigahertz on LN2 and much more. Anyway, I'm sort of preaching to the converted here. I don't think anybody in chat is an Intel fanboy or apologist. Hi Shout Gamers, thanks for joining. Please take the time to press the follow button. I'm trying to reach 50 followers so I can become associate on Twitch. That would be much appreciated. Oh, this is where my chat box gets too small. Yeah, 5 gigahertz is definitely a mark that everybody's trying to hit. I don't know if you've been following sort of Psycho in Discord, in the /overclocking Discord. I'm trying to remember what chip he has. Is it even a 7980 XE? I think it is. And it won't go to 5 gigahertz, it'll only go to 4.9, so he's trying to set up a chiller just to get to 5, even though it's just a round number. It's sort of like saying, someone's 30 now and that's way older than 29. It's just one more extra, one extra year, but it's just a psychological sort of thing. It's the same reason why people make New Year's resolutions, because, the calendar flipped over, even though it's just an arbitrary point in time. I think we're getting further on in the tests this time around. I'm sort of disappointed that, I didn't sort of have it in my head that 3DMark 11 was as memory heavy on the GTs as it seems to be now. I could always go on manual SOC, even though I haven't really seen any benefits from manual SOC voltage. Yeah, 5 gigahertz on AMD mainstream. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the architecture is up for it. On chiller maybe. No, not really. even on SS. Single core, I was doing, I mean, this 2600X isn't amazing. It's good, but it's not amazing. I was passing Geekbench 4 single core at close to 4.9, I think, on a weak single stage that sort of even down cored and with SMT disabled, still under load, and Geekbench 4 ends up being sort of minus 27 or something. So that's not a good single stage. Some people have single stages that hold minus 50 flat no matter what. Well, within reason. This is looking more like a pass, actually. This coil whine though, just horrible. Need to, I don't know if I can do anything about it. I mean, it's still not as bad as the sound of an SS, but it's pretty annoying. I have a 980 Ti classified on the way as well. Looking forward to using my EV pod with that. It is actually a good graphics test. I like it. It's let's say like 3DMark 05 and 06 make me angry sometimes when I rerun them too much because the graphics tests are just so dull. 03, I kind of like the planes and stuff, you know. 02 is cool because it has the lobby scene for Matrix in it. But yeah, 05 and 06, I don't want to run them that often, you know. But 11 has potential for something that I would actually efficiency test because it's just a pretty chill sort of test to look at. Oh, you have a 980 Ti as well. Yeah, let's run it together. You have a 2700X. Let's both sub it for Division 4. Deal? I don't have a faster card than that. Before that, my 780 Ti and my 290X were the fastest. I have a lot of old cards. So this is GT4 already. That's looking promising. The issue with crashing for system memory in the GTs is that I don't really know of a shortcut way of testing it. I'll have to do full runs at every strap along the way because, I mean, earlier on I got, I think, a GT2 fail or something. Oh, you have a 1080. That's close enough. I mean, I'm not going to buy a 1080 with all the mining stuff going on, but I reckon I can keep up with that. Okay, now we just need a past physics. It's not too bad. It's just a couple of minutes. I can just shit on about, you know, random crap while the test goes on. I don't think we have to run a combine, to be honest. I don't think you would get a fail on combine after passing GT and physics. I'm sure it happens, you know, when people don't baby their LN2 pots enough or whatever, you know, but for the purposes of today, I'm just going to assume that the combined would have passed. So that was a 3200 run. Let's go 3400. That's more reasonable. And it was at 1.4 DRAM voltage. Fucking hell. How good is the classified? I don't know, it's still in the post. I haven't even gotten it. Are you just saying in general classifieds are good cards to get, or are you saying is my particular sample good? I'm really hoping I can pass this 50 follower goal reasonably soon. I have 65 followers on Instagram. If only some of them tune in. Sorry, yeah, this is a 980 non-TI. It's an EVGA SC2, I think. So it's sort of the tier below the classified. And I haven't clocked it. It's you know, it's stock. I assume 1266 is sort of a factory overclock, a mild one, but we'll see in a minute. Once I'm reasonably happy with core and memory. Core shouldn't be too bad to lock in. Yeah, I just wonder how I can shortcut this testing of the RAM. It's really odd. I just never imagined that 3D would be heavier than, let's say, Geekbench 3. Now I have a 980 Ti classified on the way, and in the system at the moment I have a 980 non-classified EVGA. Shunt mod in the sense of sort of the power mod that they have for Pascal as well. So you're saying that I'd hit the power limit otherwise? Or is there some sort of other mod for... What's this architecture called again? Not Pascal. Is it Pascal? No. I'm a 3D noob, as you can guess. So I'm guessing shunt mod is one of those power mods. Yeah, I probably need that. Because it's not a classified or a kingpin. For those you can probably load up an LM2 BIOS, but I don't know if an LM2 BIOS off of those would work here because the different VRM and all that and PCB design. Yeah, it's for the comp, it's 3DMark 11 and 3DMark 05. So for 05 I'll probably be running the card at stock and maybe LM2ing the chip because I'm curious about PCIe and all that, where there's a PCIe cold bug. Yeah, I don't know, it doesn't have dual BIOS, so I don't really want to mess with the BIOS too much. But yeah, for a 3DMark 11 hopefully I can run it on the chiller. I don't think I'll go LN2 on both because I'm not good enough at efficiency testing and LOD and stuff to be worthwhile for me to LN2 both the CPU and the GPU. I think that would just turn into a complete waste of LN2 and time. Maxwell. Yeah, Maxwell is the name of the architecture. Thanks. So the way these competitions work is it's 3 2D stages and 2 3D stages. So if I can, run 05, 3DMark 05 at sort of 5.6 core and reasonable efficiency with the card at stock and just kill the 2D stages, then that's the competition over really. And then I just have to sub something for 3DMark 11. Maybe even just the run from today. I'm definitely keen to get a little bit more into 3D. That's why I'm doing this. But yeah, in round 1 of 2018, Division 5, I literally just had the CPU on SS, just pushed it for 3D, and then just the card on stock, or plus 20 megahertz or something. I find it a bit intimidating, the fact because the card is basically like a second system inside your system. It's still got RAM, it's got timings, it's got its own separate VRM, it's got core. There's so much that can go wrong. I prefer to just for now sort of still work on my 2D and memory skills. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have a pot. I have a Kingpin pot, non-slim. So maybe I'll do a bit of GPU Pi. That's sort of the level of skill I have for 3D. This is looking like a pass as well. I might let it finish and just grab the screenshot just as a backup score, because Division 5, so few people sub it that if you sub a score on a car that is somewhat appropriate for the division and a chip that's somewhat appropriate as well, you get sort of 30 points out of 50. So yeah, I'll grab a backup score here, and I'll just have combined run as well. So what's the audio like? I'm curious because I actually have the audio bitrate maxed. So Twitch enforces its own sort of limits on how high you can go in video bitrate and audio bitrate, and for audio it's 160 kilobits. So this is as good as it's going to get. I'm looking at my levels as well. I'm not going too high and stuff, so the audio should be sort of, I don't think it's ever going to get much better than this. I mean, unless I get a new mic or whatever. But obviously there's still room for improvement with the video and stuff. It's hard to get a capture card in Australia, but obviously that's the next big thing, because today I was messing around. You can see the main video is washed out and there's all kinds of problems with it, even though it's on a tripod. So the end game would be sort of get a capture card and then use the camera that I'm using for the main feed, and get another rig cam or whatever hooked up. So what I'd actually like to do on LN2 is turn on the mic on the camera that's pointing at the LN2 pod, so you can hear the bubbling as well. Just maybe it doesn't work out, maybe it ends up being annoying, but I like to have sort of a pod cam and kind of like a postcode / temperature cam. So that would be those two cams, and then a head cam, and obviously the system on a capture card. So I think at that point, when you have a capture and 3 cams, I don't think there's any reason to go above that, really. Hey Matthews, I've I've answered this question a few times. Hopefully it's not becoming a meme. Maybe it is becoming a meme. My 980 is an EVGA non-classified 980, non-TI, non-classified. So it's an SC2, I think. I can open up GPU set in a minute when this run is over. And welcome to the stream, and please press the follow button. I'd really appreciate that. And thanks for joining. Bit on the quiet side. Okay. A bit on the quiet side. I'm pretty close to the mic, but I can always sort of rearrange a bit. Thanks for that feedback. I wasn't aware. I don't know if you know OBS, but OBS kind of gives you one of these levels, so you have a kind of like a bar that goes across depending on how loud or quiet you're talking, and it's kind of going into the low green sort of yellow area. So I thought that was a good level to be at, but I can speak up a bit as well. I was sort of almost being a bit quiet because I thought it was high. So thanks for that feedback. Yeah, I mean, loud and clear. Okay, cool. So 15,000. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm just gonna quickly look at the comp page actually, just out of Alright. So when I swapped over to that other view, I didn't have audio. Yeah, I didn't. Alright, well at least you were able to look at the screenshot. That's interesting. I didn't know OBS switches around your audio sources as well. Well, apologies for that. So how come I have this screenshot bug now? Can you see that, how it's sort of the loading screen of GPU set is embedded in my results here? Okay, let's save the results file. 15.8K. Okay, now it's fixed. So a couple of ZPU Zs. 1266. So Johan had a card that has factory core of 1178 and mine has 1266. So it's, I know, I mean it's not a classified, but it seems to be a decent bin, if that's what you want to call it. So yeah, hours into the stream, I finally got a a result out. Not a very good one. I didn't realize I was at CL14 either. So let's go higher. Oh, Samsung. Nice. Yeah, sorry about the sound. At least I saw it. Well, you pointed it out too, but I did see it in OBS that it's just screwed. I mean, it makes, I don't know. I suppose it makes some sort of sense. If somebody is trying to switch from like a YouTube clip to them talking, then it makes sense to have the mic muted. But the fact that you have to sort of manually re-add the mic to every scene you switch to, it's kind of weird. I'll fix it before the next stream. I mean, I have like uptime bots and stuff. You should have seen the first stream. I'm sort of glad that my first stream didn't get recorded. There's a setting inside Twitch you have to toggle to even record your stream, and I didn't record it locally either, so my first stream is forever gone. Only the viewers and I will ever remember it. Which I consider a good thing because it was pretty bad. You know what? I'm gonna go to 3.5K, 3.5 core as well. We should be able to do that. Just to sort of start ramping up the score a little bit to give an idea of what it'll end up being. So my memory is now at 3533, still CL14. What's my VDIM? 1.8. That should be reasonable. Some of my my other, well, this kit might need quite a bit more VDIM actually, because it's been sort of degraded a bit. Oh, global mic settings. You're the real MVP, Rave. That's why I modded you, you know. Is anyone watching the NBA finals? Just trying to figure out what everybody in chat is doing sort of in real life, you know. Are you tennis fans? Are you baseball fans? Basketball? Other gaming fans? Not that I want to sort of off topic this stream, but it'd be interesting to know. Hi VNK. Thanks for joining. Hi Billzoid. Now that you're on here, you basically got me into OC in a way. in a strange way. I mean, I knew about OC, you know, 15, 20 years ago. I knew that LN2 overclocking existed, and I sort of went to the extreme systems forums and stuff. But at the time I was just a teenager. I didn't have the money to get a pod, or was probably nowhere to get LN2 anyway. And just for some strange reason I came back to it last year and built a Ryzen system, and went onto Reddit and found a Reddit thread about the Ryzen controversy with Steve from Gamers Nexus, when he said Ryzen isn't a gaming chip and there's no point in buying Ryzen first gen, blah blah. And I think you replied to that. There was some connection between that and your I think what happened was I watched the video that caused the controversy, so the Ryzen first gen review video by Gamers Nexus, and then YouTube just auto-played one of your PCB breakdowns, and that got me curious because I didn't know what a PCB breakdown was. I didn't know who you were, and it just went from there. I went, because you advertised your channel inside the PCB breakdown video you posted on Gamers Nexus's channel, so I went to your channel, and that's kind of how I got back into OC. I mean, I did OC, you know, in the Athlon 1 days on air, but yeah, so now I do LN2 OC. So thanks for introducing me to that, and welcome to the stream. Now please press the follow button. No, I'm joking. Do whatever you want. You've helped me enough already. Alright, so it's starting to look like a pass, so that's not too bad. I'm still disappointed I can't do 3600. I might have to fiddle around with DDR termination voltages and stuff, but it's just, I don't know who else in chat has 3DMark 11 experience, because I'm really surprised at how memory heavy it seems to be. This is the same chip that passed 3666 Geekbench 4, so the fact that it's struggling 3600 3DMark 11 is surprising to me. It might not be to other people. Thanks, Matthews. Not Matthew RS. So yeah, I've got a bit of homework already, because I've got to find this global mic setting. Got to figure out why my RAM isn't clocking as high as I thought it would. Well, Rave, the thing is, I was getting crashes in GTs, which is interesting. It is really interesting, because I you know, it wouldn't surprise me if physics crashed because of RAM issues, but to get GT crashes because of RAM issues is something that I haven't really heard of before. I mean, it could be Encore too, but that seems a bit weird too. Well, I suppose I don't know, maybe the Encore being higher than the core was the issue. That's an Intel thing, isn't it? That sometimes you can get instability because the Encore is clocked higher than the core. But I've never had it happen on AMD, but that's actually, that could explain everything actually. I'm going to try and go, you know, 3.8 or 9 core. I mean, they're two different clock domains. I don't really know, but let's try it. Let's go higher on the core and see if you can push the memory back up again. So yeah, just talking overall about the stream. The next stream, unless something dramatic happens, is going to be LN2. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm debating between GPU Pi on the 12 core Threadripper or maybe just division stuff on the 2600X. Let me know in chat if you have some sort of preference, what you want to see. Threadripper is going to be fun. I mean, I'm going to mount my Venom diagonally because I don't have Threadripper mounting on it. But it's going to be fine. You don't really need that much mounting pressure for LN2. I've mounted the single stage diagonally, and I think that's a lot more dodgy because it's not just this thing that you put on top of the core. It really is, attached to something else, and you can screw it up basically. You know what? This is passing the GTs. I'm curious to see how much I can push RAM with the core higher. So that was 3.5 core. Just double checking that. I think what I'm going to do is set like 3.8 in BIOS and then see if I can get 3733 RAM to pass. That's an interesting finding. I've done a lot of Ryzen OC and I've never sort of come across this. Then again, I don't do a lot of ambient overclocking. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe if I'm on SS and I'm just always at 4.5 gigahertz, I can just do whatever I want with my RAM. Okay, let's go 3.8. Auto V-Core should still be fine. And 1.9 DRAM. And let's try 3666 at CL14. I don't see why that wouldn't work. My RAM is good enough. This is the kit that is tested. The other kit, that's why I swapped kits, because there was a question mark over that other kit. Yeah, that's been sort of a trend with 3DMark, hasn't it? That later tests tend to either be heavier overall or be heavier on the GPU. Matthew, I'm on a Hyper 212 Evo, I think it's called. I can get it in shot later on if you're interested. So it's a pretty good air cooler, but what I have to mention is it's not tied down. I just put it on top of the core, and I use really bad paste. The idea of today is not to get the core running insanely high. It's to get everything else working, the OS and the RAM, and maybe a little bit the card, just to test how far it'll go on air as well. Let's see. I wanted to do 05 as well, but considering everything that's been sort of puzzling me here, it might just be 11. We'll see. D15. Where are you located in the world? Are you from Oz as well? Otherwise, I mean, what is a D15? Would be my first question. Is it an air cooler? I don't need a better air cooler. I just need to get my chiller working and my single stage. But just let me know what a D15 is. I'm curious. So that's looking like a crash again. Could be core though. Let's just up the core voltage a bit. Go down maybe 100 megahertz just in case. Oh, we're in diagnostic mode. Yeah, it's a memory crash. The deal with SOC is it's actually on auto. So I think what happens is that Turbo V-Core remembers the last SOC voltage you manually set, which actually was 1.25. But as you can see here, SOC is on auto. Okay, maybe 3666 was a bit adventurous. I'm gonna go 3600. Yeah, I mean, the idea is that ambient cooling for me is just when I don't want the chip to blow up. I don't really want performance out of ambient cooling. That's what I have all the other cooling methods for. But thanks for the offer anyway. I I know it's probably not ideal what I'm doing, but it's good enough. I mean, I've had physics pass 4.1 gigahertz on some of my Ryzen chips with using this method, so it can't be that bad. Auto gives you more consistent boots for sock voltage. See, now it's showing 1.1215. Now I'm curious, maybe it really does read out the sock. So many questions. I thought I knew this platform. Let's run physics on its own. No, I mean sock, when you're trying to post really high frequencies, leaving sock on auto helps getting the memory to train. Now, all right, let's go with White Shark's idea here and go. What do you want me to set sock to? 1.15, 1.175, 1.2? Is there a sweet spot? And Threadripper there is, but on Ryzen I've never sort of found that. 1.2. I go 1.2. Hi VNK and Virgo Pros. Welcome to the stream. Please press the follow button. Be greatly appreciated. 1.2. Let's fix the V-core as well, just in case that's causing any sort of issues. So White Shark, are you doing any Ryzen overclocking recently? Or are you just happy with your 8-core physics score that's beating everybody else by thousands of points? Are you getting into Sub-Zero? Or what's your preferred way to overclock? Do you just like AIOs and water, custom water? Just making sure, yeah, it's really showing 1.2 and it's showing the correct V-core as well. CPU Z is fine. Oh, you have an 8-core in your daily? So what do you OC for fun? Older platforms? Like 775 and stuff like that? EVGA, it actually doesn't show the model number. Let's check ASIC for shits and giggles actually. 72.7 ASIC. It's not bad. Okay, time for a physics run. So you have a pod, but you haven't run it yet. Are you planning to go DICE or straight to LN2? That's a really late fail. 1.2 seems to have helped. Let's just bump this a bit. That's on M3 Plus. Are you going to go for frequency runs? What RAM do you have? Do you have hypers? That's earlier. Let's lower the core. Yeah, it's an, I think it's an SC2 is what it's called. That's worse. It's kind of interesting. Okay, I'll stay at 35, 33. Yeah, it's oh, that's where the confusion comes from. So my card is called a GTX980 SC Gaming ACX 2.0. So I thought it was called an SC2 just because there's a 2 in the name. But yeah, that's the actual card. Let's open the product page. Just this time I'll have audio, I promise. There we go, audio on this view as well. So this is the card I've got. I don't think there's anything too fancy about it really. The cooler is a pretty standard looking cooler. But like I said earlier, the factory overclock seems pretty decent for what it is. Alright. 35, 33. Gonna tighten it up though. C10, that could be anything. That could be CFR even, Hynix CFR. Yeah, you'll have to just overclock it to see how it goes. But the problem is AM3 Plus doesn't really go high enough for you to even figure out what RAM you've got. So yeah, I don't know how you would. Do you have any other? Do you have Haswell? Haswell is the easy one to use to ID ICs. But yeah, I mean, you can always run, you know, W prime or whatever. That's not memory intensive. Let's see if that did the trick. You bricked your 980 irreversibly, or you were able to do something to get it back from the dead? G3258 is a fun chip. I killed mine unfortunately, but I'll get another one. They're like $50. I had a good chip though, which makes, yeah, and that was a sad story. This looks like a pass. Yeah, just not happy on the high frequencies. Have I degraded my IMC? So 17.5K. My previous was 13K, so that's decent improvement with the tighter RAM. Let's just BCLK up a little bit. Let's see how much we can get out of this. Let's even go 2 BCLK up, but get the core back down again, so the core doesn't fail me. bad bias flash. Alright, that's not the end of the world. This card doesn't have dual bias, does it? Okay, that's a fail. Yeah, it's we're sort of on the edge there. Really interesting. I'll do a full run soon. CL12 is okay. I just wonder what that means for other benches. I'd really like to just give it a quick pie-fast run or something, just to see if this is a 3DMark 11 specific sort of issue. It's a late fail. Let's go. I know. Let's go up in VDDR. Sometimes restarting the bench can help as well for 11. That's the other part of 3D benching that I don't really like, is the whole bias, screwing around with drivers and bias and overclocking utilities. You don't have that with 2D. With 2D you just go, you just clock. Either your chip clocks well and you have a good mount, or it doesn't. So that's 1.9 DDR, I really needed that. 17.5 physics again. I'll just find my core limit here as well and stick to that. Okay, that's a late fail. 101 BCLK it is then. Full run at 101 BCLK. I'll get my core limit. Let's see if that runs. Sometimes you can repeat the same settings and it doesn't run. Okay, that's a pass. $38.5. You had to run the dog out. Yeah, you missed probably not that much. Hi Virgo Pros. Welcome to the stream. Please press the follow button. That's all I ask you, is just press the follow button. I need 50 followers for the next level in Twitch. Let's go big. Let's go 4 gigahertz. I think this can do it. Yeah, 4 gigahertz seems reasonable on this level of cooling. Yeah, not sure you missed much, Jim. I mean, there was probably not even a single full run in there. Just trying to figure out memory, basically. Still, we're getting places though. It's tighter now, and it's 35, 33 at the moment, I think. 18K physics would make me happy. Yeah, 18.4. Yes, Ray. That's a very good way to. Okay, let's go full run at 4 gigahertz. I'm feeling it. I'm loving the stability of the stream though. That was really demoralizing to have previous streams just crash and drop frames. It's nice to be just on here for 2 hours with 100 dropped frames, which is nothing. So guys, just tell me what you want to see. I have in future streams, I have pretty much every platform. I don't have X79. I don't have X58. Anything previous to AM3 non-plus will be tough on AMD. I have 754, but it's just not a very stream friendly platform, I would say, right now. I might stream it anyway for Old School is Best School, stage 4 or round 4, I think, is 754. Yeah, but that's sort of a little bit dodgy. But yeah, I have actually my 1151 GPUs on LN2. Okay, well, let's put it this way. First, I'd like to have a 2D LN2 stream and see how that goes, how much the stream works or distracts me or whatever. After that, I could imagine, let's say, putting the 980 Ti on LN2 for GPU Pi, for example. But LN2 3D is probably a little bit further away. It's just... so yeah, I was... I was praising the quality of my internet when my 4G connection just went completely down. I'm back on ADSL now, which is just way worse quality. I apologize for that. But I wasn't too far away from quitting the stream anyway. Let me just try and get the settings right so I don't drop any frames. So yeah, this is what it looks like when I have to use my wired internet to stream. Not as good, I think you'll all agree, but hopefully you can at least still hear me and stuff. It's stable at least, so that's something. You missed the middle of a 3DMark 11 run, so not too tragic. It's looking like it's passing at least, so that's good. The coil whine is starting to annoy me though. $11.55. $11.55. Yeah, that would be nice on stream. I have a lot of 1155 CPUs. I have a 2400, 2500K, 2600K, 2700K. I have some IVs as well. I have a couple of 3570Ks. So yeah, that might be a good thing to stream. Can I use both, as in combine the 4G and ADSL signals? I don't know, I think that requires hardware. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I thought that required hardware. Yeah, I'm just looking at my stream. The good quality is gone. So graphics test 4. Let's see what kind of result I get. I had a 15.8K as my full run. With the better physics, it should be much higher than that. Well, it's not the same ISP, that's the problem. So I moved apartments recently. I now have my own benching slash streaming room, so that's really good. However, what I didn't know and I couldn't have known is that my main mobile provider just has a sort of like a black spot here. So you get reception, but it constantly flicks between 3G and 4G and whatever the other standard is called, 2G basically. So that's not an option. So I had to get another SIM, which happens to be a different provider. So yeah, doesn't really work that way. A crash on combined just after physics. That must be a core slash sort of heat issue. Oh, just took a while to load. Okay. Yeah, so that's just core. That's just core. Let's overclock the graphics card a little bit. Curious to see how it does. So what I'll have to do is go, down a little bit on core and just quickly grab a few things. I don't even have a. That's how bad I am at 3D. I don't even have a GPU overclocking utility on here. Yeah, 4.6 on Sunny is pretty bad. It's another thing I don't really like is all the utilities and stuff you need for 4.6. What are you talking ambient here? I thought I mean, or what kind of bench are you talking about here? Because just purely for CPU Z validation, all my chips except one did 5 gigahertz, and that one was 4.9, and I thought it was complete garbage. So I'm not really sure what you're referring to. If it's sort of Intel burn test stable, yeah, 4.6 probably is average, but in validation should be way higher. Guess I need to exit diagnostic mode. Okay. What kind of cooling do you have on there? Oh, that's the D15 that you're trying to get rid of. So I exited diagnostic mode to see if afterburner would work. I can't see why it wouldn't. I probably need like C++ or something. Or .NET. Oh, I've got Precision X here. That's probably a better thing to be using on an EVGA card. Yeah, that's the only thing about air coolers for dailies is usually you don't have RAM compatibility. Alright then, don't install. I kind of wish that more people start streaming OC. I can kind of get why people don't do it. Like it's sort of takes away from the OC in a way, but I like it still. It's very, I mean, OCing is sort of one of these kind of activities, sports, hobbies, whatever you want to call it, that are very sort of solitary, and maybe people are going for that, and then streaming takes away from that central sort of selling point of it. But for me, it's kind of the opposite. I like OC for what it is, and don't sort of enjoy the solitary part of it. So hang out with people on stream is good. Alright, EVJ, this time you're going to work. I demand it. The installation and packaging and DLL sort of architecture of Windows is just completely fucked. It doesn't, you can see here, it's just, it doesn't take very much for it just not to work. What do you mean by take down a score? You mean it makes it harder to get a good score? Is that what you're saying? Alright, let's see if this actually applies. Let's put the fans on max. Oh, that's loud. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, let's see what 70% looks like. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, no, you need to have it on a separate system. I never put any of my benching systems online. That's complete sort of like suicide. 27 degrees GPU temp. Okay, I'm gonna try for 100% fan speed. If you think the audio is too screwed up by that, then let me know and I'll drop it. So max the power target. max the temp target. Let's see what our CPU core is at. Let's go back to 101 BCLK. Let's wait for CPU Z to load. I'm trying to crowd the mic a little bit more, so okay. 3.8, that's good. Let's go plus 50 core. And that applied as per GPU said. And let's just go for a full run. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy small on stream. Okay, cool. Sound is fine. That's what I did go for. I got one of these mics that has a very sort of limited range or limited sort of area of sensitivity. So the idea is that I can run an SS or loud fans in the background without it leaking into the mic too much. The weird thing is, I mean, this is just the demo. This is not even GT1, right? But would the score be valid if I disable demo? I'm not actually sure with 3DMark 11. I'm liking how visual 3 benching is. It's good for streams. Pity this doesn't have a... Turn myself up a bit. Noise gate, okay. Turn myself up a bit. Okay, let's go for mic gain. Okay, I just boosted that mic by 20%. See how it goes. Yeah, I don't have plugins. I can't repeat it often enough how much I like chat on screen though. Just with the extra screen, I used to have one screen and I had to toggle between chat and OBS, and it was just a nightmare. I was constantly looking down like this at my laptop. But now I can just look up at the second screen. I see everything. I see my bench running as well in real time. So it's really like OBS tells me everything. It shows me the chat, shows me the bench, shows me my temps, which today are kind of irrelevant, but you know, for LN2, it's sort of everything in one place. Yeah, I think I'll watch this stream back a little bit to just sort of gauge how bad the background noise is myself. Oh, it's 1 o'clock in the morning here. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm liking my new setup though. I mean, it's nothing special, but if you want to check a picture of my setup as I set it up today, go to my Instagram. I put up a stream announcement there, and it's just a picture of my tripod and the rig set up and the 3 screens and the mic and the open bench table. I'll direct link it actually, if I can. Maybe I should have kept the GPU set open to see how the temps go during the bench. But 27 degrees idle is already pretty crazy. I think I'll put follower notifications on my stream as well. But it's getting pretty crowded already. I don't want to overload it either. It's looking like a pass. Okay, Rave is against follower notifications. I don't know, I mean, I like to have some sort of notifications, maybe hosting notifications. Lurkers want to stay lurkers. Alright, well, suggest something else then. What else would you add if you were streaming? Why aren't you streaming actually, Rave? You do a lot of OC. Just stream half of it and you get so much time in. Get a massive following. Here we go, physics, almost done. Interesting how long it takes for Combine to load up. I will stream single core at one point. I might make it interesting by LN2ing it. So 17.5 coming from 15.8. Let's just... No, it's not boring to watch. I mean, well, it is and it isn't. I think people are just looking for OC content either way, you know? So that was 800 graphics added, 4,000 physics, and 2,500 combined. I'm saving it. My other screenshot was without background, wasn't it? Yep. All right. Definitely need to avoid that. Okay, let's just sanity check this. The background is iRobot revision 7. Why is it flowing off the side? Okay, I'll have to go to native resolution, I think, for a bit. so weird. Is it? Why is it? Okay, now it shows Pro OC. Okay. $17.5K. $21 degrees GPU temperature. That's insane. So now Precision X won't start anymore. I mean, I didn't do anything. Why won't it start? Let's close everything else. That's a bit retarded. Let's get rid of afterburn in case that's a problem. Installing Visual C in case that's a problem. Ugh. Okay, you leave the room, that's a problem. Yeah. Yeah, a lot isn't on. That's the next thing. I thought you were going Sub-Zero. I thought you were going Rave. I thought you wanted first Enthusiast or whichever league it was. I think it was Enthusiast. And then you wanted to go Sub-Zero. So just go Sub-Zero. You're in the UK. Plenty of people there know where to get the good juice, you know. Just go. Don't hesitate. LN2 makes everything way more fun. It also has some problems associated with it, but when your system is running well, it's very satisfying to be on LN2. If I were 3 hours into this and not streaming, I probably would have already given up on this because it's ambient, it's boring. Okay, I gotta reinstall Precision X for some reason. I wonder what installed lead sync. 25 liters is, yeah, for £100 I get it. I wouldn't get any dewar under 20 liters because it's pointless. The 10 liter dewars are literally just there for siphoning LN2 out of a big 250 liter. They're not there for storage. Yeah, I've kind of noticed that. How come? Just real life shit getting in the way, I suppose. Come on, Windows, it's not that hard. Just uninstall the damn program. Working on Working on making images? What do you mean, white shark? Or you want to make your own overclocking utility? Precision X, MSI. What else is there? What else could I even try? Gonna get a newer version of Precision X and try and install it over this one. Six point 2.7. I hate how they make you log in. Yeah, that's what everybody does in the UK is just, well, a lot of people just rent yours. Oh, that worked. That's a pleasant surprise. What's the latest version already? £1 a litre. I pay an Aussie dollar a litre. So we had 101 BCLK, and I think we stuck with 38 mult. That worked well. Come on, Precision X. Gotta be joking. Alright, let's try to get the latest version of MSI Afterburner. Maybe the one I had wasn't the latest. Those are the ones really. Trix, Sapphire Trix. Is that worth trying? This is why I don't like 3D, you know? There's no ambiguity about the fact that I just used Turbo V-Core to overclock this motherboard. But when it comes to the card, there are 100 different ways of doing it. Okay, Trix is AMD only. Okay, let's go Afterburner. Yeah, my stream got a bit unstable there just because I was trying to download Afterburner. So what do people, I mean, I know Afterburner is really popular, but let's say Afterburner doesn't work. What do you even use on an NVIDIA card? You know what I mean? I don't think the drivers really let you overclock anything. Two minutes remaining on the download. Let's try another physics run at a higher PCLK. While you're waiting, NV Inspector. Yeah, well, that was predictable. Is that a hard lock? Not really. I just like to get the utility working consistently. I may not max out the core tonight. It's getting quite late, but I like another run. You know, I would like to see it crash from GPU OC. Yeah, I mean, I said this before. Ideally, we'd have an XOC OS, but how do you maintain binary compatibility with Windows? It would be just a nightmare. Maybe if Windows 7 at some point in the future got open sourced or something. I can't really imagine that happening, but maybe eventually it will, and that would be really sweet. Yay, this is good. Okay, let's turn off well, let's auto fan or 100% fan, and I'm going to turn off the update server thing. And temp and power minute max, no core. Okay, it'll be stock volts, but you know, let's go plus 100. Oh yeah, actually I want to see it crash. Let's go plus 150. And just validate in GPU set in case Afterburner is telling lies. Okay, 1416, it's there. Let's do full run 3DMark 11. Actually, let's do GT1 runs. Let's just really see Okay, let's do GT4 runs actually. Might be a heavier test. I know which GTs are heaviest on 03, 05 and 06, but on 11 I don't really know. If you guys know, I think somebody earlier said 3 and 4 are heavier, so let's just do GT4 runs, and if it doesn't pass full test, oh, what's happened to the resolution? Holy fuck. I'm not sure what happened there. Okay, back to Afterburner. Let's do plus 100. Even though I still can't really figure out why the resolution was as it was. Maybe I just needed a restart. Okay, here we go. Still that odd resolution glitch. I'll have to double check that this is really the advanced preset. It looks like basic. So that's nearly 100. Yeah, okay, that's for some reason. Do you see that? That was weird. Okay, let's run it in the right preset. That was set to the wrong resolution for some reason. Okay, good to know. About physics, but it doesn't do it for physics for some reason. Okay, that's still a pass. Let's just really dial it in here. Let's check like 120, 5. Just being paranoid. Okay, getting a 1400 pass would be pretty sweet. I wonder how much scaling I'll get out of memory, V memory. So that was a 53. Let's bump memory. quickly checking the other results. So 17.5 gets me in behind max. It's not so bad, considering I think he's on similar core, but oh, he has an R9. That's a bit embarrassing. So memory did nothing for me. That's interesting. Lord, okay. Let's whip out the NV inspector. Which I probably don't have. Just sort of embarrassing. On this USB stick at least. Should be able to dig it up from my laptop though. First, let's quickly do a run at 1400, above 1400. So 125 was okay. Let's go 135. I'm close to ending the stream. It's probably going to be another 10-15 minutes, depending on how quickly I can get a full run out that I'm sort of happy with. Okay, that answers that. Would have had to have extracted it, since I don't have WinRAR here. Sometimes people are too smart for their own good, raring up stuff. Just having fun trying to extract this thing. Just tell me the USB drive is not ready. So this is a newer bench, so I think replay all is the right setting for NV Inspector. No, that was it. So I'm gonna go replay all and let's just try a lot of 15. It seems to have applied. Now I just have to downclock from what I had earlier. Yeah, I can kind of see the lot having been applied. It's much more subtle than it would be on 3DMark 03, where you can kind of not even see texture on the planes anymore. I think my previous best was 57.3 or something like that. 55. Or was it was a 53.7. So that helped. Let's give it a bit more memory. Are you sure 8x works better for 11? Like, are you saying just to try it, or you know it's better for 11? Doesn't seem to have applied the memory clock. Okay, I'm doing a full run. If I get a decentish score out of this, I'll call it a day. It's 1:30 in the morning. I don't think I'll be very productive from here on in. Oh, I can really see the LOD. The 3DMark image is nicely blurred out. I will try 8x though, depending on what comes out of this run. Yeah, that's insane. I wonder how much MSI paid to get their logo into this bench. Gotta look up the rules. I'm sort of curious whether you can skip the demo. That's a hang. Ooh, blue screen. Blue screen. Yeah, I just see it in the. Yeah, I see it in the rules. All right, I have to just back off a little bit on both OCs. Hopefully Precision X will work still. It might have corrupted itself again. Yeah, I'm still wondering what's going on with the IMC or with the board. Maybe it needs a good clean. Ellie. Oh, Ella Banana, welcome. Please press the follow button. It's the only thing I ask of you. It will be greatly appreciated. But welcome to my stream. I hope you learned something in these last 10 minutes. 3DMark 11. It's been a bit of a struggle. Nice accent. Yeah, there's a long story behind that. Just hoping I can remember all my little settings that I applied in OS. So I was at 100 and let's try like 110 and 100 men. I'd be happy with that. Yeah, let's go 120. That's alright. So once the test is running, I'll... Come on. So we're going performance, and then just picking everything except the demo. So yeah, I was born in Germany, but I was 7 when my family moved to Ireland. So at this point, my German is much worse than my English. And I think I picked up a little bit of an Irish accent. But now I live in Australia, so I'm starting to pick up some of that too. So it's all just sort of mixing together. Well, I'm not using the 2600X because I think it's the best CPU for 3DMark 11. I'm using it because of the comp. There's a restriction in the comp. This is for Division 5. The restriction is Ryzen 5. So clearly the 2600X is the best there because 1600X has the same cores and roughly the same base clock, but it doesn't do as well on memory, and it has other things like cache latency is worse and stuff. So this is the best chip for this comp. Clearly for overall results on a 980, you would want Skylake X, or maybe even Broadway Hazel-E. Oh, I forgot about the LOD. It seems to still be applied though. I have a look in NVIDIA Inspector. Yeah, it's still applied. Looking at the screen here, it's still applied. And obviously, if I really wanted a high score in a 980, I'd also have the CPU on LN2. This seems to be passing though. I like to just screenshot this to get a baseline for the next time I try this again. So what have you been OCing recently, Ella? Anything fun? So that's the end of the GTs. Almost done. 478. Are those, can you remind me, are they multiplier locked? Like, do you have to really push FSB to get core? I mean, I used to build 478 systems when they came out, but that's a long time ago, I don't remember. So, multi-lock, that's kind of fun. So do you have to push chipset voltage and stuff to get that high? So 18.1K, that's a 600 point improvement. Do you have a good OCing board, or is it just something you picked up cheap and are running with now? I have no idea. Maybe on 478 it doesn't make a difference. Okay. I think that's all legal and correct. So the way this is gonna go is, since it's late at night and all that, I'm gonna just keep running stuff until I get a crash, and then that's gonna be the end of this. So just gonna quickly change to 8x for the LOD. So let's judge it off GT1. Got an 86, so almost an 87 GT1. So Ella, you missed the high quality part of the stream. My video bitrate was 8 times as high earlier, but then my 4G crapped out, and now I'm back on ADSL. So this bitrate is really low, as you might have already notice the video quality is awful. But it's a choice between this and not streaming at all. But hopefully my 4G will be sorted out. I think I just ran out of data cap. That seems lower. $85, that's a little bit lower. Okay, that's sort of inconclusive, but I'll just go back to replay all, and then what can I push? Maybe core. Push core bit. Push BCLK bit. Push just everything. 5 more on core. I like a little bit more memory. Make sure it applied. Just go for the rerun. Yeah, I just want to see it crash, really. Well, Jim, it's tricky because you've got run-to-run variants. Maybe 8x is better, but you need a lot of 7 or something, you know? I just don't have the time at the moment to test through all of it. Let's see if you get a pass here. Oh, the topic I started earlier was OC gear that's not OC related. So the 2 tips I can give people, well, the 3 maybe, is a standing desk. So I'm at a standing desk. It's great. You don't get tired of sitting down, or you don't want to sort of move around your back and stuff while you're sitting to make it more comfortable. Ideally, obviously, I'd move it up and down too, but for streaming, that just messes up the cameras and stuff. And the other thing is the open bench table, which I know is expensive. It's like $200 US or something. But I think it's worth it. I was always OCing on a cardboard box or a motherboard box before that, and I got sick of it. And the bench table is just so nice for setting up, because I really have no patience for setting up my system anyway. So whatever makes it easier is just really worth it. And the third thing is monitor arms, to be able to move around your monitors. But that's minor. I think the bench table and the standing desk are amazing. This is one of these height adjustable ones that has a motor in it, so you can use it as a sitting desk if you get tired of standing. But I've been standing for, 3+ hours now. I don't really mind it. This looks like another pass. It wouldn't surprise me if... Oh, okay. There's your crash. Yeah, I'm just gonna... That's gonna be it for the stream. For those who've joined late, I apologize. Ah, come on. I modded you, Rave. Don't abuse it. I can take it away again. I'm not affiliated with OBT. I do talk to Truthman once in a while. But yeah, I am completely unsponsored. You might be happy to know if you're a socialist or something. I don't know. I bought my OBT. Alright, well, it was fun hanging out with you guys. Sorry about the internet issues, but next stream will be LN2. This time it's a promise. Send me a PM if you have any ideas what you want LN2'd. I'm leaning towards 2600X single core for SuperPi and PiFast, and maybe a Legacy 3D. Probably just SuperPi and PiFast, to be honest. But I could also do the 12-core Threadripper or the 7640X for single core. Twitch recognized that as a command. Yeah, the thing with my streams is always that they tend to be during European hours that are not very good because they're during the week. I sometimes stream morning time, my time, but then that ends up being pretty late European hours. So it's a challenge. But anyway, I better get out of here. Catch some sleep. All right. See you guys. Thanks for joining.